Here's That Which Is with John Roger. That Which Is presented by MSIA, the Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness, a movement dedicated to awakening the spiritual heart within each of us. John Roger is the founder and spiritual advisor of MSIA, the founder and president of the Institute for Individual and World Peace, founder of the Heartfelt Foundation, and other organizations dedicated to improving people's lives. John Roger is a best-selling author, and he has been teaching and conducting seminars for many years. Right after John Roger speaks, we'll tell you how you can obtain more information about MSIA.
Feelings are always accurate. They're accurate because they just feel what they feel. What you interpret them and what you do with them is the problem. You say, well, what do you do with yours? I said, I use them to get me information. When I sit on attack, I feel that. You get the point? Well, I didn't want to be tacky with you, but I wanted you to listen. This is not pun time, this is fun time. When we feel what we feel, or we smell what we smell, all that is in truth that we smell. And we say, oh no, it's roses. Somebody else says, no, it's gardenias. Somebody else says, well, it's more like body odor. And others say, well, it's this or it's that. And we say, well, what is it? You see, that we smell is that we smell. Until we can all agree upon what that is, we have difficulties. And feelings are not a thing that we get agreement on what that is. It's something we feel. And not always something you do something with. I can give you some examples. They're not the best in the world, but they'll be the best right now. After I give it to you, knowing how smart you people are, you'll come up with a lot of good ones. That's fine with me. Do you ever feel thirsty and not get a drink of water? Do you ever feel like having sex with somebody and you don't? You get the idea? You can feel a lot of things and not move on it or have to do something with it. I know some things you'll feel more bad about if you don't than others, but I mean, who knows? Maybe the water would have been real nice. I think I hooked you all on that. Well, I've said in a lot of seminars, if you're going to hook somebody, hook them good. Get right in there and hook them in their heart. Let them know that you're in there with them and that you care and that you're willing to be part of their life, but you're not willing to be part of their personality disturbance. I'm willing to be part of your life. What part do you want? The good part, for goodness sake. Well, to get the good, you got to get the bad that goes with it. Go someplace else. But a few minutes ago, you said the coin. I said, keep flipping it. Maybe that's good on one side and not so good on the other side. Well, then, do you mean that the bad goes with the good? Only if you call the bad and the good. If I were to take a coin and flip it and say it comes up heads, I'll say, which is that? Good or bad? And some people are going to say, that's good. And others are going to say, hey, that's bad. And what am I going to say? That's heads. I flip it again, it comes up tails. What's tails? Well, it might be an eagle. Oh, wait a minute, what is this? You don't know what kind of coin I had. There's a lot of information that you don't have, and you start running the assumption that you did have it, and you don't. It may be Monticello one side and Lincoln on the other side. You don't know what kind of a coin I have. But if we agree that one side that has the head will be head, what they call it in numismatic circles, they call it obverse and something else. Why? Well, because they know that the coins will be different. They will be different. So we set up agreements with each other. How much difference can we have before we're out of agreement? How much disagreements can we have until we're not flowing together in life's song? With me, you can have all sorts of disagreements and I'm going to flow in life's song. I'll tell you why. Because you're not part of my disagreement. You're only part of my agreement. So if you have a disagreement, you're not involved with me. And you can sit there and rant and rave and carry on, and I'm just off there, spaced out, daydreaming, wishful thinking, fishing, anything else than what you're doing. Now I come to the point a lot faster. I just say, I'm not participating in that. And they insist, and they find out I'm not participating in it. And if they keep on, I just unplug stuff and get up and walk out. Then they say, you know something? He's not participating in that. Well, I wasn't when I told you, and now my body isn't either. Some people think if your body's present, you're participating. Right? You get that real clear? Some of those who are studying in the movement of spiritual inner awareness say, I was soul traveling. One of the facilitators got a hold of me and they said, well, I'd like you to come into the training if you get a chance. And I said, why is that? And they said, well, I'm not sure if this person's soul traveling or not. I said, well, why do you want me in there? Well, because if they're soul traveling, you're going to know it. I said, if they're soul traveling, I'm not going to tell you. I said, you wouldn't? Why not? Because you can't use anything you get from Spirit for or against a person, for another person. But I'll tell that person. If I'm in the room, they say they're soul traveling, I might go up to them and say, yeah, try astral. That's another way of saying the imagination, daydreaming, space case. But you can leave them dignified. Sometimes to work with people, it becomes necessary for us to find out that our loving is strength, because it takes an awful lot to leave the place of harmony and equilibrium and balance and move down to your son's tush and kick it with love. But if you do, that's part of what having the kid may be involved with, that you just have to do it. And then what is the results? The results have been eternally the same. The kid hates you. So what? If they don't have that reason, they're going to have another one, so give them a good one. And when you do it, let them know what that's all about, so that you can educate the person so you don't live with a loser and a dummy. If you don't let people you're living with win and share, they're going to be a loser, and they're going to start pulling you down until you feel like you're a loser too, and then go to blame them. But you didn't have to go down. Why didn't you let them win? And in the moment of winning, they'll go to a higher state, and you can start lifting them by letting them experience that it's okay. Most of the time, don't we have failure against a reference point? Against it. Who sets up the reference point? We do. So what are we doing but setting up our own failure? But if you don't have a reference point, JR, how can you grow? I don't know. How do you grow? Well, I mean, what do you go towards? I don't know. What do you go towards? They said, well, what do you go towards? God? I was thinking more like a new car. Well, I hope you can afford it. Can you afford God? Yeah, you can't afford not to afford God.